Gentlemen, thank you both for your leadership. We appreciate it at all times, but certainly at these very, very difficult and challenging times. I want to just follow on Senator Hovind's comments about hypersonics. We are in a unique position, as you know, in Alaska in providing the only location of supporting both short and long-range hypersonic weapons testing within the country just because of where we are with the unique geographic location. Nobody in the way down there for the most part. And I know that this is something that General Milley, you have spoken a lot about with regards to China's hypersonic weapons testing ability. Just very briefly, whether or not you're looking at the Aleutians for this in terms of opportunity for testing.
Yes.
In conjunction with our spaceport there in Kodiak as the short
answer is yes, and hypersonics are an important weapon in an entire array of weapon systems. As you know, the Russians have already fired hypersonic weapons in Ukraine. I do want to caveat that, though, but it is the key to it is in its name. It is very, very fast, and there's no effective defensive weapon against it per se to shoot it down. So the key, as Senator Moran had asked earlier, the key is to shoot the archer, not the arrow, and to get at the system at its launch sites. The other key from protection standpoint is not only the integrated air missile ballistic defense system, but it's also the tactics of the units. So units are going to have to be, as we move into this changing character of war in the future, units and organizations and equipment are going to have to be smaller, faster, much more hidden in the sense of not quite totally invisible, probably never get there, but we need to be very, very difficult to find on a battlefield. So a constant state of moving in motion, invisible to the extent that's possible, smaller in general, and speed will matter on future battlefields because so far what we've seen with hypersonics is they're very effective against fixed targets, much more difficult against moving targets.
Let me ask about the Javelins. You're just speaking about that with Senator Hovind, Mr. Secretary. And we've been working with a constituent of mine. He's an Army Special Forces vet. He's been in Ukraine training ground forces for the past couple months. He has facilitated several requirements letters from the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense verifying the need for Javelin training kits, including the head of Ukrainian Defense Intelligence. So I understand these documents have been pushed to your office. Obviously, the Javelins have the ability to significantly help Ukrainian forces, but what we're hearing is that the new Ukrainian troops are not provided adequate training to operate these $200,000 weapons systems. I was looking at an article that came out just a week ago now with regards to the training aspect of it. So the question to you is whether or not, A, they have enough of the Javelins that they need, but what we are doing to help facilitate then the training so that they can most effectively deploy these weapons, and what is DoD telling the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense in response to their ask for more trainers? How are we doing on that side?
First of all, thank you, Senator. I would highlight that we have taken, at this point, several hundred troops out of Ukraine, trained them in other countries on artillery, operation of UAVs, and other things, and they've been reintroduced into the fight. So training is something that we're doing, but the issue is that in my engagements with the Minister of Defense, and I think also with the Chief of Defense and the Chairman, the issue of specific issue of training on Javelins has never come up. But if they raise that issue, certainly we stand ready to train them. If it is a requirement, and since you brought it up, no doubt it is, we'll go back and check with them again. And the people that they need to train, we stand ready to train them. And we're pushing training kits into country as well.
I will be happy to follow up and provide you with the information that we have on this, and I thank you for that. Then just very lastly, and this doesn't require a response, but this is with regards to Arctic operations. You'd be disappointed if I didn't raise it with you, but I am thankful that you have stressed the importance of supporting Arctic operations, the training, the equipment of our joint forces in this important region. I know you've got good progress that we have made with regards to the Ted Stevens Arctic Security Studies Center in Alaska, the first Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Arctic Affairs. You've got NORTHCOM tasked with an Arctic security assessment, so there's a lot coming on in this way. I understand there's a report coming up. We'll look forward to reviewing that and being there to support you in all those efforts, but truly appreciate the heightened level of engagement in this very important part of our responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.